Hello friends, welcome to Benchmark Boutique. I'm Cassandra and I'm happy to be crafting with you today. Today we are going to be making a Triceratops skull. You can make this small. This is cut from letter size cardstock on different colors, and I did use some ink pads to embellish it a little bit to give it that fossilized sort of look like you see when you visit a museum. And this is the same file. And this Triceratops was cut out using a larger machine. I cut this on my Cameo Pro, and I just used plain white poster board, just the kind that you can run and grab at the corner store. And I did not add any color. I just put it together with some adhesive foam tape. So you can do this project a couple different ways and get a couple different looks. This is a lot of fun. This is a great conversation piece. It fits nicely on a wall. My teenage son likes to hang dinosaur skulls in his bedroom that I make on my electronic cutting machine. So it's a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's get started. This is a great place to pause your video and make sure that you've got your materials cut out, and then we'll meet back here and go over the assembly. Okay, here you can see all of the components are cut out and laid out according to the file. And I'm just going to take off the top layers, and then we are going to start assembling. This is a pretty easy file to put together. The layers are pretty cleanly cut and they stack nicely on top of each other. Because it is a skull, I think dimension adds a lot of vibrance to this design. So I'm choosing to use the adhesive foam tape so that it gets some depth and pop to really make the sockets of the eyes seem deeper, and the frill on the Triceratops skull to seem more lifelike. So most of the time I spent building this file is with the foam tape and taking off the backing, and then just carefully line it up. Make sure you have it exactly where you want, because all the layers depend on the layer below it to be in the right spot. So just make sure, measure once, measure twice, cut once type of philosophy here. And that's really it. We're just using movie magic, fast forwarding quickly. Cut out those pieces of foam, glue them on. You don't have to add dimension. This also, would work nice as a flat file, but my personal preference is that dimension. And I waited until after I assembled it to add the ink on this one. If you're following my work, you might have seen me do another dinosaur skull. I've done a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I inked that one before I built it. There's really not a right or a wrong way. I was just testing out different methods. I wanted to get a feel for the dimensionality of this one when I built it and try inking it that way. I think my preference is to add the ink before I build it, because there was a couple nooks and crannies that were a little challenging to get the ink where I wanted it to, but I was ultimately able to do it. So it all worked out in the end. But I think if I did it again, I would ink first to get that look that I wanted. This is really the trickiest part to add the foam, is around the eye socket, but you can certainly cut it to size, and it works just fine. So we're about done here with assembling the Triceratops head. All of these pieces just pop right together, and then you add the horn and the top part of the beak, and you're done. Your file's assembled. You're good to go. Or if you want to add some ink to give it some more visual appeal, you can certainly do that. And you can see I've been putting all the foam scraps in that little brown recycling bin. It's another little file that I've made, just a little crafting tool. It's a little recycle bin. I like to contain my scraps because I find that they walk around. So here we are getting ready to ink, and you can see the inks that I'm using. I don't have a brand loyalty at all. I kind of just like to use whatever is on hand. I am using the cotton swabs along the edges, just because some of the places I were trying to reach was just a little bit too dainty for my foam tool to get where I wanted it to. So I was using the cotton swab. Now, if you do use a cotton swab like I did, check for fibers, because sometimes they can get stuck in your cardstock, especially different colors. Different brands can hold on to the fibers a little bit more than others. So just double check for fibers lingering about, and you should be good to go. I'm going for sort of that fossilized look, like when you visit a museum and you see the actual fossil, or you look in a book and you see it preserved in the sandstone. So I'm going for sort of this like rusty type of color. So I'm really working on adding the layers and building that color up, and then getting some depth around the eye socket. So I'm adding some blacks and a little bit of that deepest shade of that autumn pack, just to add some dimension and depth with the shading of the color. There's really not a wrong way to do it. A lot of people just prefer the pure white bone look, and that is great. You can see in the video that I also did that with the poster board, so it all works out. That's the nice thing about paper crafting, right? Is you can make it your project your way. You could do this in, pinks and purples, add some glitter accents. There's really not a wrong way to do it. There's so many cool ways to reimagine the dinosaurs. So, that's just basically what we're doing, is filling out where we think it could use some more dimension, texture, taking a look, get a big picture view. Sometimes I focus on the details so much, I have to step back and look at the big picture. And there you have it, folks. We have completed our Triceratops skull. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. I had a great time crafting with you today. I hope you did as well. Enjoy your Triceratops. They are so much fun. Wonderful conversation pieces, wonderful things to do with people who love dinosaurs. Until next time, when we craft again, I'm Cassandra with Benchmark Boutique.